Why is it that the moment you stop caring, she suddenly does? Why does she come running back just when you finally started to move forward? It's not magic. It's not luck. It's psychology. Welcome to Man of Substance today. We're diving into a brutal, often misunderstood reality. Why women only want you when you move on. Let's be honest. Most men have lived this. You were loyal, available, consistent. You gave her everything. Your time, attention, love, maybe even money. And what did it get you? Ignored, taken for granted, or worse, replaced. Then, when you finally stop texting, stop checking in, and start focusing on yourself, boom. Suddenly, she's liking your posts. She's texting, "Hey stranger." She's asking mutual friends about you. That's not a coincidence. That's strategy, hers or nature's. What most men don't realize is that emotional detachment creates attraction. When a woman senses you've moved on, her ego gets triggered, her curiosity spikes, and her competitive instincts come alive. You become a mystery again, and that mystery is powerful. See, women are not as complicated as society wants you to believe, but they are wired differently. And if you don't understand that, you'll keep playing a losing game. You'll keep chasing, overinvesting, and getting played. This video isn't about bitterness. It's about awareness. We're going to break this down step by step so you can stop being confused when she suddenly reappears after she's lost you. You'll learn how to reclaim your power, shift the dynamic, and stop being predictable. So buckle up, because we're about to expose a side of attraction most men never see until it's too late. Let's get into it. 1. You were too available. Let's start with one of the biggest mistakes men make without even realizing it. Being too available. Now this sounds harmless, even romantic. Always being there for her, replying instantly, rearranging your schedule just to see her. But here's the hard truth. The more available you are, the less valuable you become in her eyes. It sounds backwards, right? Shouldn't loyalty and consistency be rewarded? Not in the early stages of attraction, and definitely not when she knows she has your full attention anytime she wants. See? When you're always there, always texting first, always making the effort, you stop being exciting. You become predictable, routine, safe. And unfortunately, safe doesn't trigger desire. It triggers comfort. And comfort is what she looks for after attraction, not before it. When a woman senses that you're fully invested, before she even has to work for your attention, the dynamic shifts. She feels in control. She knows exactly how to get you. There's no challenge, no chase, no tension. And guess what? That's when she starts to pull away. You gave her the reward without making her earn it. That's when she stops texting back quickly. That's when she suddenly needs space. And that's when you, the nice guy who was always there, gets ghosted. Now fast forward. You've moved on. You've stopped calling, stopped checking in. You're focused on yourself. Suddenly, she wants to catch up. She's curious again. Why? Because your unavailability has relit the fire. You're no longer that easy, predictable option. You've become a challenge again, without even trying. Let's say you used to text her every morning with good morning messages, always check in after work, and drop everything if she needed to talk. She liked it at first, but over time, she stopped appreciating it. Then one day, you stopped. You didn't say a word. No drama, no begging, no let's talk. You just disappeared. A few days later, she's texting, "Hey, you okay?" That's not concern. That's curiosity. That's her wondering why the thing she once overlooked is now missing. This is what men need to understand. Availability without scarcity breeds indifference. You were too easy to reach, too easy to win over, and too easy to control. But once you pulled away, you became unpredictable. And that's when she started noticing your worth, after you stopped giving it away for free. So remember this. Respect comes from boundaries, not begging. Attraction comes from presence mixed with absence. And sometimes, the most powerful move is simply not being there. 2. She craves the chase, not comfort. Here's a harsh truth many men don't want to hear. Women are wired to chase, not settle immediately into comfort. It's not about playing games, it's about emotional stimulation. Comfort feels good, sure, but comfort doesn't spark anything. Comfort doesn't make the heart race, the chase does. Most men, once they feel like they've got her attention, go into relationship mode way too early. They start acting like it's already a done deal, calling every day, texting nonstop, offering compliments like candy. And in doing so, they kill the exact thing that made her attracted to them in the first place: mystery, tension, and unpredictability. Let's break it down. When you first meet a woman, what excites her most isn't your availability. It's the unknown. It's the emotional high of wondering what you think about her. It's her trying to figure you out. But the moment you remove that chase, by being too reassuring, too obvious, too comfortable, you flatten the emotional roller coaster. And without that emotional spike, she checks out. Women don't crave emotional safety in the beginning. They crave curiosity, suspense, uncertainty. That's what makes the heart beat faster. That's what makes you memorable. You become the guy she can't stop thinking about, not the guy she knows she already has in her pocket. The reality is, most guys confuse being nice with being attractive. They think, if I show her I care, she'll stick around. But too much comfort, too early, is smothering. It sends the message, I'm here no matter what. You don't have to do anything for my attention. That kills polarity. That kills the spark. What women actually find attractive is when they have to earn your attention. When they feel like your time is valuable. When you're not always available, not always texting back in 5 seconds. When they don't quite know what you're thinking, but they want to. That's what keeps them emotionally invested. Now, this doesn't mean you should act like a jerk. It doesn't mean you should ignore her or play cold-hearted games. What it means is this: stop giving away all your energy before she's earned it. Stop leading with comfort. Start leading with control. The man who holds back a little, not because he's manipulative, but because he values his peace, is the man who stands out. He becomes the mystery she wants to solve, the story she wants to finish. And when he finally does open up, it means something, because it wasn't handed to her on a silver platter. It was earned. So, if you're wondering why she lost interest after things started going too well, maybe it's because you gave her comfort before she ever felt the thrill of the chase. And trust this, once the chase is over too soon, so is the excitement. 3. Your absence feeds her ego. Let's talk about something a lot of men don't see coming. Your absence doesn't just make her miss you, it boosts her ego. And that's a powerful reason why she comes crawling back after you've moved on. At first, when you're constantly around, texting, calling, liking her pictures, showing interest, you're boosting her ego, no doubt. But it's constant. It becomes background noise. She knows you're there. She knows she has you. There's no urgency, no fear of loss. And when there's no fear of loss, there's no value in keeping you close. But then something changes. You start pulling back. Not out of revenge, not because you're bitter, but because you're done trying. You stop showing up. You stop feeding the dynamic. And that silence hits her like a wave. She notices it. Not because she suddenly loves you again, but because a part of her identity was built around your attention. Your presence validated her. It confirmed she still had it. It reminded her she could have you whenever she wanted. And now, that mirror is gone. This is what most men don't realize. A woman's ego is often tied to how wanted she feels. When you were always present, always validating her, you were like fuel. She might not have wanted a relationship, but she loved the feeling of knowing someone was ready to give her everything. And when that fuel gets cut off, her ego takes a hit. It makes her wonder, wait, why isn't he chasing me anymore? That thought alone can drive her to re-engage, even if she has no real emotional connection left. It's not always about love. A lot of the time, it's about ego management. She wants to know she can still get your attention. She wants to confirm she still has that power. And if she doesn't, it unsettles her. So she starts doing what she never did before, reaching out, watching your stories, sending those "I miss you" texts. Not because she suddenly realized how amazing you were, but because your absence created uncertainty. And that uncertainty pokes her ego. It makes her question herself. That's the twist. When you stop feeding her confidence, she starts chasing you to get it back. You see, when you're gone, she has to sit with the possibility that she was never as special as she thought. That maybe, just maybe, she was never in control. That kind of self-doubt? It's uncomfortable, and most people will do anything to avoid it. So instead of sitting in it, she reaches back out to you. Not out of genuine interest, but out of self-preservation. Out of a need to feel desirable again. So yes, your absence is powerful. But it's not just about making her miss you. It's about removing the ego boost she used to get from you, and letting the silence do the talking. 4. Moving on threatens her control. Here's something most men overlook. The moment you move on, you're no longer under her influence, and that shakes her. Not because she lost someone she loved deeply, but because she lost control over someone who used to orbit around her. Let's be honest. When you're stuck on a woman, even if you're not officially together, she can feel it. Women are incredibly intuitive about energy. She knows when she's still the center of your world. She can sense when you're still watching her stories, still hoping for her to text back, still wondering if she'll come back. That quiet desperation, even if you try to hide it, gives her control. It allows her to keep you emotionally parked while she explores other options or enjoys her independence. But once you truly let go, when your attention shifts, when your energy changes, when she no longer feels that pull, it disrupts everything. She's not used to that. She was used to you being available, emotionally invested, maybe even waiting in the background just in case she changed her mind. Your moving on signals to her that her power over you is gone. And that's a threat. Not to her heart, but to her sense of control. This is why women often come back when you least expect it. Not when you're lonely, not when you're trying, but when you've actually started to live again. When your focus is no longer on her. When your energy is moving forward instead of being stuck on the past. That's when she starts to feel that control slipping through her fingers. And it's not just about control over you. It's about what that loss says to her. It forces her to consider that she's no longer the one in your eyes. That maybe she wasn't as irreplaceable as she thought. That you found peace without her. And for someone who once had emotional leverage over you, that realization can be a blow to her pride. You see, for many women, being the one you can't move on from is a status symbol. It makes them feel special, desired, powerful. So when you finally cut ties, when you stop watching from the sidelines, when you start building your life without her, she feels that loss. Not as love, but as lost influence. That's why she resurfaces. Not because she suddenly values you more, but because she senses she's no longer in control. And control, for someone who once held the emotional upper hand, is addicting. When it's gone, panic sets in. That panic makes her test the waters again, just to see if she can still reel you back in. So the next time she pops back up after you've finally moved on, understand what's really happening. Your growth isn't what attracted her back. It's the fact that your growth left her behind. And that scares her more than anything. 5. She misses competing for you. Here's something most men don't fully grasp. Women want to feel like they're winning a prize, not being handed one. When you make yourself too easy to get, you remove the game and the reward. But when you move on, when other women start noticing you, when your attention isn't automatically hers anymore, something changes. She starts to feel like she's losing. And suddenly, she wants back in. Not because she loves you, but because she misses the competition. The truth is, attraction has a competitive edge to it. And while most women won't say it out loud, they feel more desire when they know other women desire you too. You become more valuable, more sought after, more exciting. But when you're constantly chasing her, constantly reassuring her that she's the only one you're focused on, she relaxes. She stops trying. The thrill is gone. But the moment you step back, the moment you stop treating her like the prize and start living like you're the prize, it sparks something. She starts asking herself, wait, who's he talking to now? Even if she walked away from you, your ability to move forward without her triggers something deep inside. That fear of being replaced, that fear that someone else is about to enjoy what she used to have. Let's say you used to text her all the time, drop compliments every day, and basically put her on a pedestal. She didn't have to do much to keep your attention. She knew it was always there. But now, weeks go by with nothing. She checks your page and sees you looking better, smiling more, maybe out with other people. You didn't post it to make her jealous. It's just your new reality. But now she's wondering, who is that girl in the photo? Is he into her? That doubt kicks in. That curiosity burns. Now she wants to check in, just to say hi, just to see how you've been. But it's not innocent. It's her trying to reclaim a spot she thought she had locked in. She thought she had you forever. Now she's realizing someone else might be winning you, and that competitive fire reignites. Men often think women don't care when they move on. The truth is, they care a lot more than they let on, especially if they feel like they're being outshined by another woman. And the best part? You didn't have to say a word. You didn't have to chase, prove, or explain. You just had to level up, live your life, and let her witness it. So don't underestimate the power of walking away and letting her feel what it's like to not be the only one in the room anymore. When she senses competition, she either steps up or watches someone else take your spot. 6. Your silence feels like power. Let's be real. There's nothing more powerful than a man who goes quiet at the right time. Not passive, not cold, just silent. No explanations, no arguments, no chasing. That kind of silence hits different. And for a woman who's used to having your attention, it's loud. You see, when a man is constantly talking, explaining himself, apologizing, trying to fix things, it shows that he's emotionally tied up in the situation. And the more you talk, the more she knows she's still in control, that she still has access to your emotions. But when you stop speaking, stop reacting, stop showing up like you used to, it creates a shift. That silence becomes a statement. I've had enough. And it doesn't even have to be dramatic. You don't need to slam doors or post cryptic quotes. Just the fact that you're no longer reaching out, no longer trying to fix something she broke, no longer feeding the emotional connection, it speaks volumes. Because women notice when a man pulls back emotionally, and they notice even more when he does it with peace. That's when they start to feel the difference between attention and absence. Silence tells her that she no longer has control over your mind, your time, or your heart, and that's uncomfortable, especially for someone who used to hear from you every day. When you go quiet, she starts to ask herself questions. Is he over me? Is he seeing someone else? Why isn't he fighting for me anymore? Those questions eat at her, and they almost always lead her back to you, just to get answers. But by then, the energy has shifted. You're not chasing anymore. You're not sitting by the phone. You're living your life, focused on things that actually matter. And that kind of silence, that inner peace, is attractive in a way that words never could be. It shows strength, maturity, and emotional control. And that's rare. Most men talk too much when things fall apart. They try to plead their case, win her over, explain their side. But none of that works. Why? Because emotion only fuels her ego. And the more emotion you show, the more she feels like she still holds the upper hand. Silence, though? It removes her spotlight. It forces her to sit in her own decisions. And most importantly, it forces her to feel your absence. And here's the part that matters most. Your silence isn't just about her, it's about you. It means you've stopped giving energy to people who don't value it. You've stopped speaking into spaces where your words are wasted. That silence doesn't just punish her, it heals you. It gives you your power back. So if you've said all you needed to say, and she still doesn't see your worth, stop talking. Let your peace speak for you. Because nothing haunts a woman more than the silence of a man she thought would never walk away. 7. She wants what she can't have. Here's a wake-up call for a lot of men. You've been taught to chase, but you've been chasing the wrong things. You've been so focused on winning her over, showing her your worth, and proving yourself that you missed a fundamental truth. She wants what she can't have. Simple as that. It's time for some tough love, guys. If you're constantly chasing her, constantly giving her attention, constantly bending over backward to show her that you're the one, you're actually doing the opposite of what creates real attraction. You're making yourself too available, too predictable, too easy. You've heard the phrase, don't chase, attract, right? It's not just some trendy saying, it's an emotional truth. Women, at their core, are attracted to mystery, challenge, and uncertainty. When a man is always there, always checking in, always validating her feelings, he stops being exciting. He stops being a challenge. And let's face it, being easy to get is never a turn on. This is where a lot of men fail. You've been conditioned to believe that showing love and devotion will win her heart. And sure, it might, but it's never lasting. You give her everything, and then what? She doesn't have to work for anything. She knows exactly how much attention you're willing to give. She knows you'll show up whenever she wants. And that's a problem. Because the moment you stop playing the game, the moment you stop making her chase a little, the moment you pull back your energy, she starts to want you. She doesn't just have you anymore. Now she has to earn your attention, your love, your respect. But here's the thing. You can't wait until you've lost her to learn this lesson. The moment you start valuing yourself more than the approval of others, especially women, is the moment you finally wake up. She'll want you not because you gave her everything, but because you stopped giving her everything so easily. You pulled away and focused on yourself. And that shift in energy, that unpredictability, is what makes her start to value you again. Men, it's time to stop waiting for her approval. You're not here to win her over. You're here to live your life. And the more you live it without focusing on her every move, the more you'll make her feel like she's competing for your attention. And that's when attraction grows. Women aren't as complicated as we sometimes think. The trick is not giving them all your energy, not making them the center of your universe. When you start valuing yourself first, when you start to live for you and not for her, you'll see the difference. Your silence, your distance, your focus on your own growth will make her wonder what she's missing. And that, my friend, is when she'll start chasing you. Wake up to your own worth. Stop giving away your power and start living a life that doesn't revolve around her. Because when you do, you'll become the one thing she can't have, and that's when you'll be irresistible. To wrap things up, most women don't fall in love with you because of who you are. They fall in love with how you make them feel. And the moment you stop making them feel like the center of your world, the moment you start living for yourself, that's when the dynamic shifts. That's when she realizes she's no longer in control. And that's when the attraction comes roaring back. You might hate to hear this, but it's the reality. She's not going to chase you until she feels like she might lose you. And if you're always available, always pursuing, always eager to prove yourself, you're going to stay stuck in the friend zone, or worse, the backup guy zone. Men, it's time to wake up. Stop living for her approval. Stop giving your energy to someone who hasn't earned it. The moment you start living for yourself, you'll find that the women who once took you for granted will suddenly see you in a whole new light. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me about your experiences with this. Have you noticed the shift when you finally moved on? Or maybe you've been stuck in that cycle of chasing. I'll be responding to comments and creating real connections with you guys. This channel is all about helping each other grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.